Hello, welcome back to the Strong Girl Gus podcast.
Welcome back. Hope you're well.
This week we are going to be chatting about things that you don't need to be wasting your time with in 2025, especially around your training. So before we get started, a little reminder of the week.
Yes, our reminder of the week, which we've been reminded of this week. A bad feeling doesn't last forever. A bad day doesn't last forever. You can always turn it around, and it might be the smallest thing you need to turn it around, and you've just got to get out for that walk, or you've just got to go and see a friend. Whatever it might be for you, do the thing that you feel like could turn your week around.
Yeah, I think as a woman, we've got to remember that our hormones are wild, right? And sometimes it can be maybe at moments you don't expect it. So I think it's just really being aware of that. Like the start of this week for me, I was in such a role, like not in mentally in like a good place. Just where you get that can't be arsed attitude. Like it was that for everything, training, work, everything. But a couple of days later, I feel like a completely different woman. Like I'm going to blame the hormones, but it just goes to show that how quickly your mindset can change and how quickly things can turn around. So if you are having a bad day or a bad week, it doesn't last forever.
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember when you're in those moments, just feel your feelings because you know it's going to turn around and you're going to feel productive, positive on top of your shit again. So just ride the wave.
Yeah, take some time out and chill out.
Chill out.
I didn't do that at the start of the week, but now looking back, I'm like, why didn't you just just chill for a bit? Because
I always think that.
Okay, getting it into the episode then. So the first point that we want to touch on, and we feel deeply about this one, I think, but you don't need to be going to HIIT classes or any form of class that doesn't align with your goal. I think it's a really, really important one, just because sometimes people can often get stuck in the cycle of like more calorie burning, the more sweat I am, the more out of breath I am, equals the better the workout and the more results I'm going to get, for example. But yeah, if it doesn't serve you, you don't enjoy it, I don't enjoy doing HIIT classes, put it in the bin. You don't need to do it.
And also really question whether it does serve you, because I'm sure if you're sitting here listening to this podcast with perhaps a fat loss goal, you're thinking, well, I need to do 3 HIIT classes a week to achieve that goal. Do your research, get someone you trust, and actually question whether that aligns with what you're trying to achieve. Because with HIIT classes, they can be enjoyable. It's not something I enjoy, but if you do random workouts or you do random classes, you are going to get random results. So it's being intentional with your time and understanding that, okay, if you enjoy it, if that's what you like doing, if you have a really great community gym that you like going to, you go for it. You HIIT class your way through life, but don't feel like you need to do it just to achieve a goal, because 9 times out of 10, HIIT actually isn't really getting you anywhere, I would personally say. So that's with all goals. So really assess whether it's right for you, because I would say for most people it isn't. However, we are made to believe that classes and HIIT are the things that will get you to that goal, but it's not always the case.
People think harder the better.
Yeah.
I barely sweat in my workouts, you know?
Yeah, no, neither do I.
Love it. I'm like, oh, yeah, still feeling...
That's a little bonus one that we haven't thought about before this episode.
Yeah.
You don't need to waste time with sweating, because that does not equal results.
No, sweat doesn't equal a better workout at all. Don't get me wrong, I love to get a good sweat on. So once a week I'll have a bit of a blowout with some cardio. I like to get my sweat on, feel good. But my over 4 structured program sessions of the week, I barely break out in a sweat. Barely, because, I'm focusing on leaning into other things. But it kind of leads us on nicely to the next point of you don't need to be doing random exercises that again don't serve you or your goals. So if you have seen somebody doing a squat to bicep curl on the internet and you think that is what I need, do you really need that? Do you know what I mean? Let's kind of let's assess if that is something that you need or not. Combination exercises, personally for me, is something that I don't program or don't really agree with. I think if you want to squat, let's squat. If you want to bicep curl, let's bicep curl separately at the relevant weights. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and relevant weights is the key point there, because you might be thinking, because I agree with Jess, combo exercises can get in the bin as far as I'm concerned, and it's something you will find quite a lot in HIIT classes. Like another example, you know, a reverse lunge to overhead press or whatever it is. If you think about using squat and bicep curl as the example here, how much can you squat and how much can you bicep curl? Those weights are so wildly different. I can bicep curl like 10% of my squat. So what actual progress are you making there in your squat? None. You're just filling time. And actually you're just wasting time that you could have been putting into doing bicep curls and actually getting a good pump on. So yeah, I think with the combo exercises, that could be a whole point on itself that you do not need to waste time with. But then looking at things like, oh, I've seen someone on the internet doing, you know, sumo squats. Does actually a sumo squat suit your body type? Does it suit your structure? Is that something that you want to work on? Just because you've seen your fave influencer do it doesn't mean that it's going to be the exercise for A, you and your goals, but B, you and your body type and your, you know, mechanics, and whether that works for you. Maybe your hips are slightly too tight for that, or that's just one example. But looking at A, your body, and B, your goals, and looking at what suits you.
Yeah, 100%. I think I fell into that so many times. So just know, by the way, this isn't us digging you out. It's more like there's a gap of like of knowledge to be filled here, right? Like people may be doing these combo exercises, or they're doing again things that they've seen because they think like that will get them to the goals that they've got. And it's not a case of like digging anyone out. It's just it's a reminder, because I wish years ago that somebody had told me that, of like, why are you wasting your time with that? Like, what is your goal? You want to get stronger in squats. We're doing that as a movement on its own. Do you know what I mean? But it just kind of reminded me of like times what I've gone through in my own journey. Let's take one example of like when I was really into CrossFit and I was like trying to learn to walk on my hands. I'm sorry, but like I just need to walk on my legs. Like I've got when I do it, I've got no interest in walking on my hands. You just get like almost like seeing other people do it, or you see it online, and do you know what I mean? It's quite cool. Don't get me wrong, but like you spend so long like trying to do something, and then when you just take a step back for a second, that's literally what I did. I was like, do you even care about that? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just stop. Let me just like, go and get stronger in my squat, because that is actually more important to me.
Yeah, and I think it goes for the same for like injuries and weakness points as well. Your body may not suit squats. Do you know what I mean? Like you may have really tight hips, you may have a previous knee injury that maybe doesn't allow you to go so deep. There is nothing saying you have to have a squat or a deadlift or a bench press or any exercise in your program. If it doesn't align with you and actually it's causing you more, you know, misery and making you dread that session or that exercise, or more, God forbid, pain, and you're putting your body through pain to try and achieve this program or this exercise, then it's just not worth it. There is no one singular exercise that is the key to all of your goals. So I think stripping back to the original point, having a look at what the exercises are in your program or what the exercises are that you're doing in the gym, and actually figuring out if they align with you and what you're trying to achieve.
Definitely. And I think just to kind of close out on that point, there's a reason why you will go onto my Instagram page and barely see a workout put together. And it's not because I don't want to help you for free. Like I absolutely do. But I get the question all the time of like, what do you do? Like, what do you do in the gym? Like, what can you give me some inspo? And as much as I can do that, if I was to share my workouts with you, they would not be relevant for you at all, because that program is so tailored to me, my weaknesses, the goals that I've got. Like it actually would just confuse you even more. Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think it's important to like remember like the workouts that you are seeing online put together, and the ones that you maybe save and then go and try, like remember that is probably staged, and people obviously putting them together to give you inspiration for more engagement online or whatever. And B, like if not, then it's their workout. It's their workout for the goals that they have got. And I think again, like that's something that I wish that I knew, because I used to follow Instagram workouts like all of the time, literally before I started investing in any kind of coaching. And there was a reason why it took me so long to start seeing results and start seeing that progress that I really wanted to see. And it's because those workouts were not made for me.
Yeah. Next one. More towards nutrition. You don't need to waste your time with fasted training.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a buzzword and something that I think people get quite confused about because so many people harp on about how great it is. And I'm, our audience, what is it, like 100% female. If you've seen something that says fasted training is a good idea, it's probably come from a man. Males are wildly different to females, hormonally, in the most part. Like, your hormones are going to be the biggest thing that contributes to fasted training perhaps not being the greatest idea for you. So it's not going to help you burn fat quicker. It's not going to do anything better than having a banana would before your training session. And in fact, what you do need to put some time towards is fueling your session and having something before you train, if you have the time, if it feels good for you.
Wow, there is a big difference of when I have fueled my training to when I have just rocked up, like, and been rushed. And I never turn up to a session under fueled, like, on purpose. Sometimes it happens because, you run out of time or you're in a bit of a rush, but there's such a big difference. And for years, I was in that trap of, okay, like, more towards the start of my fitness journey when I was doing more HIIT and doing more cardio, those kind of things. Like, if I do this on an empty stomach, I'm going to burn calories quicker. I'm going to get to those goals quicker, especially when I had like that goal of making myself smaller. But yeah, like, all it really did, if I'm totally honest, is made me crash later in the day, and just made me feel a little bit dizzy and awful. So that can
Wouldn't recommend.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
fuel really, like, food really is fuel. Like, if you are going to put your body under so much stress and like you are asking it to perform, the least that you can do is give it some energy.
Yeah, definitely. Not something that is going to be more beneficial for you than fueling is. So just bear that in mind. Last one, random supplements.
Yeah.
Taking, a multivitamin, vitamin C, whatever it is, because again, you've seen your fave influencer take it. If it's not going to benefit you and your specific areas of need, it is a waste of money.
Yeah, I feel passionately about this because the amount of money that I spent, again, in the early years of my fitness journey, BCAAs were a big one.
Oh
Why
my
did I
God.
keep buying them? Like, why?
Did
And it
nothing.
was, no, literally nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. I don't know why I ever spent any money on those. But they were something that I would be having every single session. And it's like, as long as you are fueled properly, you are well hydrated. I do think electrolytes are obviously helpful, especially when you are sweating a lot. So yes to things like just water, electrolytes, actual food, carbs, but no to things like BCAAs. Pre-workout, I'm sorry, but I've had it once in my life, and I genuinely nearly called myself an ambulance. I'm not even being like exaggerating.
Oh my God.
Do you know what's funny, right? I took it during lockdown when I was doing a home workout, yeah, and it was a 20-minute HIIT workout. It started kicking in after the 20 minutes had finished.
No.
And I felt so unwell, so itchy, so like I had all this energy, but the workout I was doing didn't require that amount of energy. Do you know what I mean?
It's not a magic key, guys. I've had it asked to me quite a lot. It's probably one of my frequently asked questions, to be honest. What pre-workout would you recommend? A bit of food and a coffee if you need it. Honestly, guys, like, you do not need to spend your money on some fancy powder that tastes like gummy bears. Like, it is not going to do you any good. It doesn't make you have a better workout. If anything, like Jess said, it just makes you crash later on in the day. So supplements, whether that's, vitamin supplements or more towards kind of gym supplements, really do your research and think, do I personally need this?
Yeah, I would really, really recommend every single individual to do their own research, because there are some supplements out there that can be really helpful in certain situations. Like, 100%.
Definitely.
Like, for me, like, just to give you one example, like, I'm someone that doesn't eat any fish. I don't like it. So for me, actually supplementing like an omega-3 would be helpful, because I'm not really getting a good amount of that in my diet by not consuming fish. So fun fact though, I still won't eat them because they're too big, they're oily, and I don't like them. So I'll just deal with,
It would be a good idea, but I don't do it.
yeah, but I don't do it. But like, that is actually a reason why, because fun fact, I can't swallow tablets, only really, really small ones.
Really?
Yeah, fun fact. And you do not want an omega-3 tablet popping in your mouth. Like, I've done it. So, but anyway, that's just one example, yeah. And like going into like things like multivitamins, again, like if you are somebody that eats zero fruit and veg because for whatever reason you hate it, might work for you. If you have quite a balanced diet and you already have quite a lot of fruit and veg in there, like something like that's not going to be relevant. So it's about your personal circumstances, and doing your research. And I think the only one that I will actually leave on is creatine. I think like
Yeah, it's important to mention that.
Like on the strength training journey would benefit from creatine.
Yeah, definitely. And just looping back to the randomness of it all. Don't get it from random websites. If you have done your research and have decided, actually, do you know what? Supplementing magnesium is really going to help with my sleep. Let's try it. Don't just get it from the first or cheapest brand you see on Holland and Barrett. Do your research. How well is that supplement made? How much dosage has it got, etc. So no random supplements from random places for random results. I think the big theme of this whole episode has been randomness and just making sure that you are targeting maybe not a problem, but an outcome you'd like to achieve and doing the right things for that outcome.
Yeah, 100%. But we hope this has been helpful. And if you do, as always, have any questions based off anything that we said, make sure that you just ask them. And if you want us to expand on anything, we absolutely will if we can, or always put you in the right direction to someone who is maybe a bit more knowledgeable, especially on things like supplementation and nutrition. So yeah, but other than that, we'll see you next week.
We will see you next week. Have a great one.
See you later.